right now for
Do I have to?
us and to people. Well, probably. Jerk.
That's me. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Dr. Nick.
Hi, everybody. And hey, we're going to be going
everybody.
live here in a second. Anyway, live stream. Got it. We're going to do that. It's going to be coming up here. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. You're hearing voices. People are going to be joining us right away. And we're going to be getting started as always. We're pushing the buttons. We're clicking the stuff. We're doing the things. So bear with us for 1 second here while we get everything going. And then we will officially kick off on October 29th and get you learning some cool stuff. Why is YouTube doing that?
You are already on YouTube because I just loaded it and it looks pretty. Paul, you look pretty.
Of course I do.
So pretty. Oh, so pretty. Pretty and witty and wise. Love it. Love it.
Anger management.
All right. The button clicking is there. The other stuff is good. Paul bringing our other hosts. I'm bringing our other panel people for today.
I did.
YouTube's going to finish thinking in a second. Everything's live. Still showed us 2 people in the waiting room.
I might have kicked them out.
Got it. I'm on it.
Oh, I didn't push that button. I was telling everyone else to push the button.
And there we go. Bam. That link is there. Other stuff is going on. The other places, will have the other places up shortly. And we are going live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, welcome to the MCC Virtual Business Box Lunch, October 29th of 2021. I am your host. I am the savage in business. And of course, undisputed, ultimate, reigning champion, Mitch Camage, bringing it to you, hot and heavy and delicious, of course. And with me, because guess what? They're part of the family too, are my brothers from other mothers. I got on my screen on this side, I got my boy Zeus. Matt Houston is in the house. On this side, I got my boy, the Monarch is here, Paul Fakowski, and the always effervescent Phoenix herself, Lorette Lee, and JT is in the house. The Debt Machine is rocking it here with us today. Welcome to Virtual Business Box Lunch, where in the next 30, 45, 50 minutes or so, we're going to bring you the week that was that business brought to us, information and ideas that have popped up into our head, and of course, try and make you just a little bit smarter at business. I'm going to finish doing some button pushing for a moment. I'll let everybody that's on today introduce themselves, and then we will get right into it. Because as I like to say, I usually sandbag these poor buggers with the kind of stuff we're going to talk about. I don't tell them anything that's coming into it. And you should hear the language off camera later about this kind of stuff. They absolutely love the way I just give it to them. So with that, Zeus, tell them who you are.
Matt Houston, I am one of your brokers of certainty in this very strange and uncertain time. I love working with individuals and with companies to help get their shit right. And I'm allowed to say that because I know you push that button. So we're just here to provide a path and to provide all the tools needed in order to break down any barriers that may come up in your business world.
I'm Paul Fakowski. I'm a business coach as well with these guys. And, what it's about is rules of the game. We're thrust into the business limelight and kind of fly by the seat of the pants with information from other professionals and other people we work with. But do we really know what the rules of the game are? And do we know what the laws of the game are? You can't beat gravity. So, over time, this grinds you down and potentially can put you out of business. So, get the rules, get the right path. That's what we're here.
Absolutely. The Phoenix, what you got?
Well, my name is Lorette Lee. I run Phoenix Career Development. 40% of people hate their jobs now, and that's unacceptable. So we teach the theory, practice, choose your own adventure sessions, and just launched the legendary journey. So come talk to me if you hate your job.
Ooh, powerful stuff. Thank you so much. JT.
All right, I'm Justin. I'm with Global Debt Technologies. We do everything debt, whether you're a business needing to get paid or you're a consumer needing to figure out how to deal with your stuff. We're a one-stop shop, 2 separate platforms that'll help you figure that out. So if you hate your debt, come talk to me.
Hey, and audience, it's out there right now in YouTube land. Thank you for joining us before we've even finished introducing ourselves. We have multiple users online. Somebody already gave us a thumbs up. I'm like, I love you on this day today. Thank you, fellow citizen. Thumbs up to you too. Anyway, those that are out live watching on YouTube, don't hesitate to drop a comment, drop a hey, what's up, etc. I see our brother Doug from HVA Engraving is on there. Doug, good to see you, brother. Fantastic for joining us as well. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes because, of course, this is to help make you smarter. Some of us here, the MCC crew, just came back from Las Vegas at a world-changing event, which is why I'm rocking Undisputed today, because that comes from Undisputed Mastery, the other organization that I get an opportunity to coach in. That's where some of the best in the world come together, and we bring just a select group of people, millionaires and billionaires, movers and shakers in to do some rock and roll stuff on themselves. Now, as we go through that, why this is sensing a theme here for a moment, why I'm bringing this up, we hear and see and touch, taste, feel the same thing, same problems, same challenges all the time. Most of our discussions when we come into this, there's the week that was, there's the year in review 6 months in advance, there's the next quarter. We've been talking about setting up the last quarter of the year right now. We're at the end of October, so you got November and December to make it count. And then, of course, 2 weeks ago, we sat there and talked about what it would take to get 2022 to maximize and really grow. But our panel today is centered around some really good stuff that has to do with you, the individual. We're carrying so many constraints, so many squeeze points in our life, our emotional, our relationship range, our psychological, our psychic strength is being taxed, waned, and stretched in ways that we never imagined. And of course, because of that, we're seeing other stressors coming in, financial, job related. It's not a coincidence that often we find Lorette and JT, Justin T-Volt from DebtorX and Creedom, on my screen, he's in this corner here right now. Lorette's right there. I got Matt right there. I got Paul right there. So for them to come in, because they're talking about the kind of stuff that has a direct effect on you here, a direct effect on you here, and a direct effect for the entire world. So if you guys can do your job effectively, you help to mitigate and alleviate some of that stuff. That's the first place I want to start. The world went upside down 20 months ago. It changed, it shifted, and now this is part of the new world order. This is the new reality of what we're facing, the new place that we're in, the new job environment, the new money environment, the new AR environment, the new AP environment, the new all those great business terms. So what are you watching right now compared to 2 years ago? How fast is it moving? How quickly are people getting jammed up and squeezed? And what are the most common symptoms? Let's say we don't want to fix this. We're going to fix that in a moment. So there's the precursor. Think about the stuff that you're seeing right now, the kind of constraint, the kind of squeeze, the kind of problems people are going through, the kind of things you're hearing from them. And then we're going to look to solve some of those problems here in a bit. I want to hear from everybody as well. What have you seen just in the last week? What have you seen in the last day? What have you seen today, if that's the opportunity? But I want to hear the kind of things because I want people to feel like they're not alone when they're experiencing this. Does that make sense? Sound like a fair spot? So let's start with the symptom. What are we seeing? What are we experiencing? What are people telling you amidst your role on a regular basis? Who's going first?
Wow. Geez. I'll go first. Okay. Well, I'm finding that, in my circle and talking to business owners and people out there, it's kind of like climbing a mountain with a rock is what it's really feeling like on that, and that rock just won't go away. And it's starting to get heavy. So, we've been dealing with everything and it doesn't stop. It keeps coming. And I think that's where we need to have that mental break. We need to have that hard stop. We need to put the phone away. We need to stop looking at the computer and give ourselves some time to recharge and re-energize. Because, continuously grinding it out will just end up grinding you down.
Okay, I get to go next. New World Order But I'm like, what if it's a new world order from the heart? Because you went like mind, body, spirit, but you actually didn't reach for your heart. So honestly, it's a new book coming out and it's a darn good book. So your question, what are you watching? Why are you watching? What are you creating? Which is my question. So create from the heart, lean into that soul purpose of why you belong on life, wrestle with esoteric concepts, and like be who you were meant to be.
Lorette, we're solving problems later. What's the crap that's jamming people up right now?
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. It's the void. It's the clearing of everything and like, oh crap, what am I supposed to do right now? So the pain point is nothing, because nothing is the same. Nothing is real. So within the nothingness, it eats at you. It will grind at you. And so really the problem is nothing, but because nothing is everything in its complete whole, like entirety, it's uncomfortable not knowing where the next steps are. So what the problem is everything got desecrated into what? That's the problem.
Whipping out the big words today. Desecrated. Love it. Love it. Hell yeah. Hashtag desecrated. Somebody get that out there. All right, Justin, what you got?
I don't know if I can follow up on that. That was way too deep for me at 12:14 on a Friday afternoon. What am I seeing? Well, I had the privilege of not joining you guys at your retreat. However, I had the privilege of experiencing a conference. And what I'm seeing is inequalities, even more so since the pandemic, and a lot of struggles for a lot of people that we honestly should count ourselves lucky for in Canada. So it's I'm seeing a lot of opportunity to help people. I'm seeing a lot of just new ways of looking at things, you know, outside of our province or outside of our country. And yeah, the last week's been an eye opener. So I don't want to say it's nothing, but I want to say there's been a lot to see, a lot of inequalities, whether that's based on gender, color of your skin, generational wealth, whether it's based on, you know, several other components. And the pandemic, the last 20 months have really amplified those inequalities in underserved communities. And I'm sure, you know, it's still prevalent in Canada. There's another word, prevalent in Canada, but I don't think it's as, you know, I don't think we're as big impacted up here as they are in other parts of the world. So
yeah, for me, I believe this past week has highlighted that this truly is a global world. And people are like, what the heck does that mean? It means that we live in this global economy and we're all sharing in the struggle. You know, we've had people that we shared time and space with that were from Southeast Asia and from Europe and from the US and from Canada. And no matter where they are in their company, whether or not it's solopreneur basement or $400 million guy, we're all sharing in the struggle of all this new. So to speak to Lorette, yes, the void is real because we're still searching, right? Like, and Paul, obviously I subscribe to the whole rock analogy because it wasn't an analogy for us, right? And that lightweight, like that extra, 5-10 pounds over the course of the mountain climb really added up to quite a bit of struggle. And for business owners, they need to understand that small thing that's in the back of their mind really is going to be a deficiency if they don't just deal with it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's get a little more specific. Symptom lists that we're seeing, we're experiencing. I'm hearing touch points from all over the place. We've got the sense of more divisiveness than we've had togetherness over the last 18 to 20 months. We can agree, goes to Justin's point about segregation, separation. It seems like we're putting more distance between us, even though we can pick this thing up and we can communicate further, faster, better than we ever did before. We're actually further apart from each other now than we were at other times. In that, we get economic dispute. We got problems with money, just money inside of our own households, inability to be able to buy things. The cost of things are starting to increase. The cost of milk, diapers, food, meat, vegetables, whatever else it is, whether you're vegan, whether you're vegetarian, whether you're a meatitarian, whether you love processed food, doesn't matter what it is, everything's starting to cost more. Costs more for gas, costs more for food, costs more for the roof over your head. So you're getting constrained at home, you're getting constrained at work, people are paying less. They're paying slower. They're not paying at all, right? They're starting to do these things. You're watching employment-based issues. You're watching less money available in the market. Pay people more. Not every business is in a position to be able to pay more. They might only be in a position to just pay this. And that sucks because right now there's this massive movement inside of the world. But if you're watching, people are going, hold it. We don't have to get paid like this anymore. You are 100% right. You don't have to anymore. There are more jobs available right now, but there's less money available at this moment. You're like, Mitch, you're full of shit. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You tried to collect on an invoice in the last little while. You're the constrained brain praying, and I'll get it to you next week. Right? Who's old enough to remember this? You know, I'll pay you back Tuesday for a hamburger today. It happens an awful lot right now. So between money constraints at home and at business, employment-based issues that are happening there, people that are unhappy inside of the job, but they're stuck because they feel like they can't get anywhere. These are some of the symptoms. So I'd like us to come up with just a couple more that you see you hear, or maybe you're experiencing yourself as well, to lay it out once more. It's about familiarization. We want to talk about inclusion. We want to bring the whole web together for a moment. What else are we seeing that's a little more specific? Hearing, feeling, touching, tasting. And then let's start to Lorette's point. I love the enthusiasm. Let's start fixing it for people. So what else do we got? It's a little more specific so people not feel like they are alone because they're going through this. And right now, all everybody thinks is, I got to be the only person going through this right now. I'm the only person that's experienced this. This is unique. Nobody else is stuck. Everybody else is doing better than I am. I'm telling you right now, that's bullshit. But what we got?
There's a few things. I mean, a big one is burnout. You know, with companies or industries that have been, you know, laying people off and piling more on, a lot more, you know, stress leaves that are happening, and not necessarily laid off, but still, you know, less people to pull from. So it puts more onto other employees. I mean, we've seen that in the healthcare industry. We've seen that, you know, across the board. So that's a problem that's not getting better. It seems to be getting worse, because now you're just going to be burning out the ones that are, you know, doing the heavy lifting on that side. Lost my other point, probably because it's Friday. My brain is tapioca. But you know, I just see it's burnout, or it's I have to do more. I have to switch, and now I have to learn this. So it feels like, you know, you're constantly climbing a mountain and you don't have any reprieve. There is no flat spots on this journey, because now you've had to change so quickly, and you know, you come around the bend and there's another big hill or a big mountain to climb, meaning, you know, supply chain and everything that we've talked here before. So, you know, maybe it's time to just sit back, take a breath, see where you're at, and see how you can simplify.
I can go, but I'm like, Justin, do you want to go before me? Just check it.
He's whipping out the big words today.
I want to hear. No, I want to hear what she has to say, and then I want to get into it. I want to have a little bit of a debate.
You don't need to be nervous if you keep whipping out desecrated. I love that. Right? Like, raise the bar today.
Okay, so number one, people think that breaking is a bad thing. Like, people think that when their life is, it's bad. But like, why is my company called Phoenix Career Development? So if you are breaking, or if you're going through a bad thing, I want to say congratulations. So one of the problems in life is we are really mean to ourselves. Like, your self-esteem sucks. Your self-forgiveness sucks. So I've been wrestling through the cheesy self-esteem, the cheesy self-forgiveness. But because I do that and I wrestle with the inner dragons within, I can understand it's a game that you can win. And yes, there is more, like, less resources, less money, but you are the best resource that you have. So understand, you come to the game like as a king, as a queen. Like, there's only one of you. There's only like so much that you can do. And it's amazing, ... Like, you co-create with the universe. How are you creating? So like, I just want to be like, if your life sucks, congratulations, you can now change it. You need the pain point so that you can create an amazing life.
I think sometimes the pain point is the catalyst. It's what gives you the swift kick in the butt to start making changes because you're forced to. A lot of people have that, okay, I'm just going to kind of stay here because I'm comfortable. This is where I'm at. But at the same time, when you get that swift kick, it's time that you have to start making decisions. You can sit here and say, okay, woe is me, I've been laid off. I read an article yesterday, 4,000 BC healthcare workers are, on leave without pay. And so they're suspending surgeries. They're suspending all of this. And to Paul's point, people are going to be impacted by this. But at the same time, these people are now going to be out of work. And I think that when you're put into this position, and to kind of offset or to piggyback off of what you said, you're now in a position where you have to make decisions. How are you going to get paid? At the start of the pandemic, there were more businesses registered in Canada than not. Why? Because, well, I still got to make money. And now that I don't have brick and mortar, I'm working out of my house, I can undercut the company that was charging 10 grand to build a website, and I can do it for $3,500 under the table and make more money now doing less work. So I think like the creativities come up. And, I think in a lot of cases, some of our larger corporations, some of our larger companies, unless they change a cultural aspect of it, and that's going to be, time off, that's going to be the work at home and work at the office, that's going to be paid vacation. And I don't mean just giving them their 2 or 3 weeks paid vacation, but hey, you know what? Company made some record profits. You guys are going to Mexico for a week, paid for by the company. Yeah, we got to stagger because we still have to do things. But I think, we're going to start seeing a lot more of that in the market, and we're going to have to start seeing it. Otherwise, some of these big corporations, these big companies, they're not going to be able to survive. Or they're going to have to utilize companies like mine or the other 8,000 that were at the conference I was at to be able to do a lot of the heavy lifting for them. But at the same time, this whole thing, I think, is pulling creativity out of people. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I would say this as we're all talking, I just can't help but focus on my breakfast with my kids. Like, yes, we're talking short play, but we've always had this generational gap at the workplace of, the millennials, what the heck is the workplace going to look like when my 10 and 6-year-old become that age and have been behind a mask for years, that don't understand how to stand up in front of all of the parents at the Christmas concert? Like, all of these leadership skills aren't really being taught consciously, subconsciously. And I'm, again, visionary here, but like, what the heck does the year 2035 look like in the workforce? Where is it going to be? It's no longer a 14-year-old going to work at McDonald's, because that's going to be so automated because what is happening right now. Where's their first job? What's the industry look like? And then how do they progress up the ladder? Because the ladder may be on its side, not going up and down. It's not about a glass tower anymore. It's about, like Justin had said, the Spanx founder giving out 10,000 cash and 2 first-class tickets. Like, that is what's going to build, culture and fit. And I'm curious to see how that all plays out when my kids are in the workforce.
My son's 16 trying to get a job right now, and he can't. There's a ton of work out there, but he doesn't have experience. McDonald's, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here before they flag it and have the post taken down. He's applied there a handful of times. He doesn't have the experience they want. Well, they built their business on 14, 15-year-old and 16-year-old kids running their entire business. But now, because there is so much out there, they're looking at people to be a little bit more reliable, a little bit on the higher aged scale, that they can still pay $15 an hour to. And $15 an hour, I don't care. That's not enough to live off of. Now you've got, to your point, Matt, you're looking forward to breakfast with your kids. When you're a grown adult having to, care for a household, you got to have 2 full-time $15 an hour jobs to get by. And I think, again, this is where that creativity and where you do want to attract the right people, the right just the right, overall corporate culture.
Okay. We're looking at the symptoms. We're starting to hear some of the strategies. So you screwed up in here right now. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. You're screwed up in here right now. You're screwed up in here right now because of you, because of them, because of everybody else. Doesn't matter. Absolutely does not matter. Methodology, steps forward, things to do next, whatever else. Part of our takeaway going in, and when I brought it up earlier, once again, why I'm rocking this shirt, people are watching, looking for, trying to understand why they're stuck where they are, all these other good and bad and different parts that just make up them. It makes up the human being as it stands. Some of the things that we have to do. So I'm going to add some stuff here for a moment. We're going to start with the person, the individual themselves. What should you be doing to rest, mitigate, do all those other great things so that you can reset in the midst of a pandemic? Why? There has to be enough of you to go around for your business. After all, this is governed towards entrepreneurs, small and medium-sized business owners. That's why we're talking here today. We're all small business owners on this call. We're all dealing with these things. We're dealing with family constraints, personal constraints, relationship with friends, etc., vendors, partners, clients, customers, whatever else is going to happen. We're dealing with all these different things. So I'm going to start with the person, the individual for themselves. Advice that I dispensed just last night, this morning, was the next 60 days. What's going to happen? Next 60 days is going to take you up towards Christmas and New Year's, a natural breaking point. So pick some simple tasks to do. Do you think that you can read one chapter of a book in about 15 to 30 minutes? That's what the average person does. 10, 12, 15, 16, 20 pages, 15 to 30 minutes. Go pick up a book, any book you want. Can be fiction, can be nonfiction, but I'd prefer it to be something that's going to help you. Okay. Great book out there. Unfuck Yourself. It's literally the title of the book. You've never heard of it? Don't know what it is? Guy's name is Bishop. Go read it. Great book to do. 12 Rules for Life. Great book. Go read it. Listen to it. Download the podcast. Whatever else is going to go. Get it in the form of audio. One chapter a day. 15 to 30 minutes of your life. It's going to take you only 22 days to finish a book. When was the last time you read an entire book? One chapter a day. It's going to take you 22 days or less. The average book has 16 to 22 pages in it. You're going to finish a book in the next 22 days. Next 22 days, I don't know whose email just binged, but thank you. Ding! I just heard that. I just heard that bell go off. Whatever. While you're doing it, do something physical for 15 to 30 minutes every day for those 22 days. By the time Christmas hits, you'll read 3 books and you'll spend 60 days having a 15 to 30-minute workout of some kind. Do you think you're going to feel better? Now, take it, flip it up, take it up and volume up a little bit. Invest 30 to 45 minutes every day and start reading 2 books every 22 days. By the time Christmas and New Year's hits, you will have read 6 books. When was the last time you read 6 books? In the next 60 odd days, when was the last time you worked out 60 days in a row? Invest in P90X, Insanity, Ragnarok, any of the cool body weight stay-at-home workouts. You don't have to leave anywhere. You can stay terrified of human beings, etc. I don't even think I have read 6 books. Well, JT, here's your time to shine, brother. Here's your time to double your worldwide number, right? But you could drill through 6 books by the time New Year's hits and get a workout in. Do you think you might feel better? Have a different perspective? Make one for fun, make one for profit. Crew, what else we got to help the individual? What else you got so that they can do something good for themselves right now so they don't have to feel like, well, they're stuck and they're all alone?
Find a coach, whether or not that's a mind coach, a physical coach, a business coach, some sort of strategy coach, simply because they know more than you do. Like Loretta said, I read 6 books. Well, I want to know what book she read, right? So find that ambassador, that advocate, that technician in whatever you're trying to do so that you can be better at it. You can, I was told that I was always in the student mode, meaning I was reading, I was taking aim, but I never fired. Well, now it's going to be about who's going to help me fire that so that I can get it bullseye target, but fast, because that target is a moving target in business, right? So if you're continually chasing it, you might be in trouble.
Accountability. I think that, that builds on Matt's point, right? It's somebody that's there that can hold you accountable, and we're more likely to do it then, right? We'll usually slough it off if it's just up to us, or we usually make the goal or the new habit too big. It's too broad in that. Whereas maybe it's just waking up and doing 5 push-ups as soon as you get out of the bed, and away you go. Or keeping it simple after you brush your teeth. I don't know, drink a liter of water. Have something that you're already doing, so that you don't have to worry about the time and the space, and you can actually merge existing habits that you have, and it's not overwhelming. You don't have to think about it. And then it's tracking, putting that big wall poster up, having that days and crossing them off, or putting a check mark or a happy face, so that you can visually see that, and you can see your progress. And then after that, celebrate. And what does celebrate mean to you? Is it a small piece of chocolate? Is it, I don't know, pizza on a Friday after you followed through? Whatever that is, it's the celebration, and that's the way that our minds work, right? We're very immediate in getting that pleasure center to light up. So be grateful to yourself, and just do it small, keep it simple, track it, and reward.
There we go.
I add?
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to go back to a kid's book. I've got to read this book. Maybe I've read more than 6 books, but a lot of them are kids' books with like 7 pages. So maybe that's have you filled the bucket today? And the whole concept about this is do for somebody else. It's amazing that when you give, and we can talk church and tithing, we can talk giving to a charity, we can talk about just giving your time to somebody, we can just talk about that. But it's amazing, no matter how down you are, frustrated, annoyed, whatever it is, when you start to give, something on the inside of you just turns. So if you haven't done something nice for someone today, rather than flipping the dude off in the lane as he's trying to cut across, let him in. It's something simple. Rather than rushing into Walmart and not holding, though they've got the sliding doors, rather than taking the last shopping cart and leaving the lady walk with her infant through the store, give her the shopping cart. Just little things like this can really go a long way, not just for the other person, but for you. So while we can say some selfishness behind it, you are still doing good for somebody else. But take the time to fill somebody's bucket. Take the time to comment how kick-ass Mitch's beard is. I just filled his bucket. Right? So there's those elements that we all have, and I think that if we as a society employ a lot more of that, while there's still going to be frustrations, there's still going to be things, I think it's also going to help us adjust and make the changes that we collectively need to make.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to echo Justin and Matt. All of the wise sages, all of history past, is go into the heart, go into like your heart space and like meditate, but really listen to this thing. And then how can I not respond to Justin's can't get a job because I don't have experience because I don't have a job? We've all been there, right? But like the pandemic broke the machine. So the new emerging people, like jobs that are coming into play, are people that fix the machine. So like take the responsibility. How can I help you? The strongest thing, exactly what Matt and Justin were saying, is use the words, how can I help you? Because again, when you help other people, you help the world, and that's how life should flow, is just like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. And that's honestly where the abundance of life is, because once you help, you receive it like 1,000-fold.
Just going to comment real quick. Yes, Serena, that book does sound awesome. You absolutely need to get after it. And while we're there, I grabbed my phone really quick to look in there. So to come back here to the person for a moment. Now, everybody going to sense the theme. We talked about the individual. Now we're going to talk about the profession, getting better at the stuff that you do, right? People don't feel like they're adequate right now. Lorette touched on something, and while Justin was talking, something clicked in my head. If you don't have the experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience. How do you break that cycle? Well, you start getting better at the other skills that it's going to take to be able to do that. Communication skills, problem solving skills, anticipating other people's needs, etc. These are all skills. In some language, it's called competency. This is the development of the stuff. And you can get good at that in other places. Like, let's say, reading a book for 15 to 30 minutes every day. When I grabbed my phone, what I was actually doing is going through my Audible account to look at the books that I've got in there that are all in cycle. I have lots of books going at the same time. In fact, I think I have 10 or 12 books all going at one time right now. And I'll polish them off fairly quickly here. The longest book is 22 hours. The shortest book, and this makes up maybe 40% of my active list right now, is only about 6 hours in length. So 15 minutes a day of an audiobook does what? Gets it done in 24 days. Half an hour every day gets it done in 12 days, which means if you end, so Jen Sincero's book, You Are a Badass, is on there. It's only 6 hours, and I think it was 21 minutes. So you could finish it in the next 12 days. And then you get another book, which means in 24 days, you can get 2 books done, just like we were discussing before. Or if you dedicate 15 minutes a day with what does that take you to? 24 days as well to finish that book, or 12 days, or an hour a day. When was the last time you spent an hour? Now you can be doing that with anything else. So start to get better at what you're doing. People think that they're missing out on a skill set. So why do we feel like we're so constrained? We're missing out because we're not good at something. No excuses to not get better. So let's help people get a little better at their jobs. That could be dad, that could be mom, that could be brother, that could be sister, that could be parent, that could be child. But more importantly, we want to talk about entrepreneurs. And if you're looking for a new opportunity, no excuse to not invest in skill development right now, because that shit can go on a resume. I've absorbed 60 self-help and business books in the last year. What'd you learn out of it? I learned this, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. Thank you to the power of the internet, you can find the top 5, top 6, or top 7 skills that recruiters are looking for. And if your resume doesn't match, what if your resume had, these are the skills that I've been developing over the last 6 months on my own just to try and get your job? Who are they going to pick? So, panel, what we got?
The term fake it till you make it, I think, is more evident now than ever, because much of what is happening in business, we've truly never been there before, right? So, to have these employers or these corporations saying, no, you don't have the experience needed, I would look them in the eye saying, neither do you. So let's do it together, right? So it's really quite odd that, we're all searching for these things. And Lorette, you were talking about like, fix what is broken, right? Well, I would say like I'm going to call bullshit on the bullshitter. Like, nobody has the skills needed in order to succeed in the world of today, because we have never been here now. So let's wipe the slate clean. Here are the tools that I have. And Mitch, to speak to what you just mentioned, yeah, here are the tools that I do have now that I haven't been able to hone because I haven't been given the opportunity. So again, steel sharpens steel. We need to ensure that that type of relationship is where we are forging these culture, these processes, these people tactics in the world of today. Small, medium, large scale business. And you're seeing that more from the top tier businesses out there. And I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Also terrified. So that's my 2 cents.
Before Lorette gets in here with the big word, I got to stay right on what Matt has said for a moment. And that is, if you're literally at a job interview and they're like, well, you really don't have the job skills, then why are you hiring? You're literally hiring for the thing you're deficient for right now. And at least I busted my ass to try and do that thing for you. So you don't have it either. You're screwed. Why did you put a job ad out for this? It's because you don't have it either. So I at least tried. I'm here right now saying, because at least I put some of it in. If you didn't want to hire for it, then it means you had it. If not, you're looking for it, and I can help. So rest of the panel, what you got? Justin just busted a gut.
I'm going to go back to my favorite person, which is Bruce Lee. So like, how did he defeat people? One punch. He was like, I ain't got time for 1,000 things and to learn 1,000 things. Learn one thing and learn it really, really well, right? So there's in self-help, and the more you read, the more you see themes, by the way. So like, Justin, it's fine that you haven't read a million books. They're all the same. Oh no. So like, think for yourself, create. That's the gist of reading. That's the gist of like what the books say. I want to say if you invest in Google Analytics, so there's a free course on Google Analytics. That's like a hot button to put on your resume. People are like, what's Google Analytics? And you're like, if you just have that on your resume, bam, right? Or another thing is like Facebook Blueprint as well. So like have the simple that no one has, right? And also speaking and coaching. So do uncomfortable things, people notice. They're like, oh, that person did something that I've never done before. But speaking is like a golden ticket too. So have Facebook, Google Analytics, and like do something audacious. Take some speaking classes or like speak in public.
Mm-hmm. Rest of the team, what else? Let's make people better at their jobs. What else we got?
Toastmasters is not dead. Toastmasters is not dead. We put one of our people through it last year. It was freaking awesome. His ability to speak and his ability to interact with people skyrocketed. It's worth the investment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't be a lemming. Sell yourself differently. What's the unique thing that you bring to the table? That I think is really, really key. You know, this past week, we had our coaching call today. I was there for a week, like throwing things in chats, and, you know, some of the things that were there, you know, do something different for us. We've got a pitch deck. It's on paper. Okay, well, so I can get numbers, I can get things. Why don't you do a video pitch? Why don't we get to see your personality? Things that we would normally see 1,000 times a week, but something that pops. I can't remember who it was in our syndicate group, but they had posted a job ad, and it was like the most ridiculous questions ever. You know, like, what's the color blue mean to you? Things that have absolutely no relevance. But honestly, if I had something like that come across and I asked those questions and somebody took the time to actually answer the damn things, I'd be sitting down for that interview, right? Be unique, be who you are. And if you're lazy, don't try to fake it till you make it. If you're, know that you're going to call in sick all the time, don't try and fake it till you make it. But, if you really do have an interest in the job, if you have an interest in the position, take the time to be who you are and deliver something that's going to be memorable. I think my favorite interview ever, this guy came in jeans and a t-shirt, and normally I told everybody to walk away if they crossed our door with jeans and a t-shirt for an interview. And he looked at me and he says, "Before you kick me out, here's what happened." And it was one of those immediate, he was answering the question and his personality and everything. We wound up hiring him, and he turned out to be one of the best people that we had. Right. So the reality is just do something different. If you know that things aren't going right, just be yourself and do something different.
All right. Absolutely. Paul, good commentary. Good commentary. All right. So we're looking at inside, we're looking at outside ourselves. Now we need to stretch one part bigger, right? Everybody's getting the living shit beat out of them right now. Businesses, we're running scared. We're trying to hire employees. We can't get paid. We're not able to pay. We can't pay our employees. We got to do all these other things. And then there's that dude over there. Idyllic. Water's calm. Drop the pebble. Nothing happens. He's just as scared as you are. He's just as screwed up. He's learned to manage and mitigate a little better. So now we've sat there and we got to, hey, get better at what you're doing, whether it's to make the pitch, make the sale, etc. Now let's think about that in the form of the business. We got constraint that's happening right now. So one or two big problems, one or two solutions. What do we got? Let's tie this together, give people something really good to work at, because November, December, they got to make it count. And of course, just like 2 weeks ago, we set up the new year. So where are they at and what do they got to do about it to make themselves better, make their business better?
What do I need to get rid of? You could just take a piece of paper and go right down the middle and go, what are we great at? What are we not good at? What do we want to get rid of? What can we delegate? What can we merge? How can we make space for not only ourselves, but for our business? right? Because there's always something new that we have to learn. There's a process that comes in. There's challenges, and things don't happen in one time. There happened 4 times. I mean, you just keep getting pummeled with what's happening out there, and we have that tendency to think everything's linear. No, it's just going to go this way. My goals are this way. My company is going to go this way, and that's just not reality. So I think we have to sit back and go, hey, that's not reality. How can I adjust? How can I think ahead and front run a little bit of this shit that I know that's going to be coming, whatever it ends up being, so that I can create that space, which creates a little bit more mental clarity and gives you direction again for your company, so that you can be, in more of a meditative yoga state as you move forward while the chaos is all around you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go off of Mitch's ability to coach and my ability to be coached. 5 things. What are 5 things that you can focus on between now and the end of the year that are going to help get you to where you need to be? Regardless, and Paul, to your point, it's going to be slicing and dicing the things that, while can have merit, don't actually bring merit to where you need to be over the next 30, 60, 90 days. So a really great tidbit of coaching from the Mitch Camage team here. And, cut things down, identify those 5 key elements. Again, if your element is revenue and you're doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't generate revenue, cut it out. If you're needing to hire people and the stuff that's taking you away from hiring people, cut it out, or we've got some amazing people within our syndicate group that can help you with that. But really just identify those key elements and run with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't major in minor, right? So again, common theme here is that take the things that really are truly important, spend the time on those items or tasks first. Don't just do a check mark. Oh, I got this done. I'm sure all of us have our list, and then we've added something to the list and then checked it off right away, just so that we can feel like we've accomplished something, right? Truly find, and I've really taken the time this past week to look at the most successful people in my world, and they are super, super structured with getting the big items off their plate first, because then they have the mind space and the time in order to do the things that they need or want to do, right? So that's key. And be super coachable. Justin, I agree. We were literally in a ring with a 6'5", 300-pound dude, and the people that were successful were the people that were able to hear the others outside of the ring, because they have a much better view. Like when you're in it, you're just like, holy shit, I'm in it, right? So if you're in the arena, listen to the people around you, be coachable, and understand that they have your best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby. Yeah. The Monarch's got the gloves. Loving it. Loving it. All right, Monarch. Beauty. Laurette, what you got?
Wow, I thought I answered this question. Oh, because we have to circle back. I'm going to say the same thing again, but just like drive it home. So again, self-esteem, self-compassion, understand self. And it's funny because the book that I wrote this year was round 2, ding, 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 grace and glory. Underline the grace, understand the glory. Like, your life is amazing. Let your freak flag fly. You're weird. Get over it. So what makes you weird? Lean into that, because that is your strength and that is your weakness. So also mentorship, like everyone was talking about. So that is my answer. I'm happy with that.
Badass. Danny, Scott, anything to add?
I don't know. Well, I'm going to say personally, I just wrote down what you guys talked about. So I'm going to do that this weekend, which is find 5 focuses between now and the end of the year and work on keep it, delegate it, or delete it. But like how to make yourself more hireable. It's funny. We did an interview about an hour ago, and the guy came out of post-secondary education with not all the requirements that we're looking for our job, but he's been busy spending his time self-educating and going, I know inside the industry, these are the things I'm going to need. So he's already starting to do it, which is half of what I would put him through when we're doing training in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the employment. So it's kind of cool to see people doing more forward thinking. And he's not a native Canadian. And, when it comes down to things, unfortunately, it's going to be 10 times harder for a non-native Canadian to get the same job. But when you look at who's hungrier and who's ready and who's driven, who's motivated, quite frankly, there's a lot of people that are content to sit on their ass and bitch rather than actually go out and put the work in. And for him, it's going to take him 30 hours to get 2 certifications that are going to make the difference between him and 50 other graduates who didn't bother to do that. So that's going to get him a job where other people might be sitting there. So, and sometimes it's just a couple of YouTube videos, whatever it is, spend a couple of hours every single week, educate yourself, get yourself to a different point, treat everybody like your competition in a sense, and you'll find something. It might take you a little while, but you'll find something.
I think mine is, you'll be the best at whatever you want to apply yourself to. And whether that's sitting on your ass doing nothing or focusing on what you need to do, you'll be the best at it. So find time to reflect and understand what you need to apply your time to make things happen for yourself.
Yeah.
Paul and Matt, I know there's been commentary already. I want you guys to close us out because I'm going to, for a change, I'm going to share final thoughts today. So boys, what you got?
I would say this. I think all of this conversation really just leads down to find the people that are doing it, mimic them. And like, that is something that has been taught to us. I won't speak for anybody else, taught to me since grade school, right? Like, dress for the job that you want. And, people dress as Batman. Okay, well, go to. And like now more like in the world of today, we have that opportunity, like optics is one thing. And Mitch, you touched on this a bit where this guy's standing over there and, you throw a pebble and nothing happens. Bullshit. I would say the storm is just happening on the inside. So like Tin Man is saying it's fine and dandy if you are like shiny on the outside, but there is a storm and we're all in it. So you need to ensure that you have the people that become your cheerleaders, your ambassadors, and your mentors, because without that, like we're all tired and you're seeing it everywhere, right? And if you look at even some of the podcasts and YouTube videos that are out there, you can see the top tier mentors, they're looking tired. Like the last 2 years, what has happened with all of us aging, and you guys know based off of I've shaved my beard on purpose, because I can't be that dude that looks that old, because I see it, like the reflection is there and I want to be empowered and I want to be able to go out there and do the same thing with everyone else. So long story long, find the people that are already doing it and ride coattails all day long.
Paulie?
Keep it simple. Forgive yourself. Stop running for the horizon. It's going to be all right. Reach out to the people who can help you. Ask for help. You're not alone. You're not alone. And when you have those conversations, you find out how similar and connected we really are. So, take it down a couple of pegs. Ask for the help. Keep it simple. And just forgive yourself and give yourself some honor and some space, because how long do you have? So do you want to work yourself to death, or do you want to enjoy it along the way?
All right, my final thoughts for today, and then we're going to close out because we got to bounce to our sister station for a syndicate talks here shortly with our boy Justin T in the house talking about finance and debt. 1, kindness to self. Have a nap in the middle of the day for 5 minutes. Do that regularly. You will get clarity on what you have to do for the rest of the day. Secondly, invest in relationships first. My partners and my brothers and my friends and my co-coaches in my business are here on this call every bloody week. They've been given really specific tasks in our business so that I can focus on other things. Those are incredibly important. Places that allow them to stretch, force them to do some things that maybe they're not that comfortable with, but it's teaching them something, and they always have a resource here. And it means I can get my hands free to do other stuff. So first of all, it's kindness to self. Secondly, that's investing in other people. Build new relationships and do what? Paul's word, delegate. Get other people to do things for you so that you can focus on those. So those are the big three right now. Number 4, where's your family at? Where's your family and your time with those people that are really important to you? Must be a priority for you as well. And then what needs to be number 5, what as well? Have something to measure against. 100% know what you're driving towards right now, because it's going to continue to force you to simplify, to just focus on that. Take care of your family. Must. Take care of yourself. Have a nap, even if it's for 5 minutes. Do that 2 or 3 times a week. You're going to feel a hell of a lot better. When you're investing in yourself, 30 minutes of audiobook a day is going to have you plowing through 1 book a month, every month for the rest of the year. When was the last time you read 12 books? When was the last time you read 24? 3 years ago, I set a challenge. I read 250 in a year. 252 is the actual number. A book a day, almost every day. Plowed through. It was immense. There were days where it was a struggle, but I wanted to pack more into my head. Measure comparably what you need to work towards and only focus on those things. Only those things for the next 60 days. And invest in relationships and delegate. Do those, and you are going to have a far more successful year. 100% you're going to have a far more successful finished year, and 2022 is going to be rocketing forward. So, Lorette, Justin, Scott, Danny, hey, showing the love and bringing some information to help other people, other entrepreneurs. I love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much. My brothers from other mothers, Zeus, Monarch, I always got love and I always got time for you. Without you, I couldn't do this. So thank you so much. To everybody out there in YouTube land, this is the MCC Virtual Business Box launch, October 29th of 2021. And I have put, as often as I can, as many smart people as I can in this. If an hour of your time to make you better at yourself, your business, and how you do your business isn't enough for you, get the fuck off my channel. Otherwise, watch these videos. There is hours of smart content here. Comment, ask questions, and for the love of God, hire a coach. Hire this coach, hire those coaches, hire those people, and get better at what it is that you do. I promise you that life will be different in just 30 and 60 days. Imagine investing the next 12 months in your life, in your relationships. What is going to change because of it? Thank you for joining us today. We will see you next Friday on the Virtual Business Box Lunch. I am your host, Mitch Camage, and this week I am the undisputed master, and you can get better at what you do. And I love you for working your ass off to do that. We will see you next time. And as always, it is a pleasure to share with you. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week.
Knock it out of the park.